Back here on the John Fourcade Show, and again, Friends and Neighbors Black Friday pricing event. $500 off on Black Friday bonus cash now on the Edge and Ford Escape. Again, Friends and Neighbors Black Friday pricing event, $500 off. Cash now available on Edge and Escape right here at Veterans Ford. We're back here on the John Fourcade Show. John, I think the big story in the NFC as we hit the bye week is a still undefeated Carolina Panthers football team. And listen, everybody complains about injuries, and everybody has them. Look at the injuries the Panthers had to start the season. You lose your star offensive player in Kelvin Benjamin. Stephen Hill goes down with an injury. You got beat up along the offensive line. Ryan Khalil missed a little bit of time. Basically, Luke Kuechly missed 3 games. He wasn't there. This team is still undefeated. Man, that goes to show how good of a coach Ron Rivera is and that coaching staff with the Carolina Panthers. 9-0 right now. The Falcons 6-3 and kind of sucking a little air right now. The Bucks steal a game, so to speak. They 4-5 and the Saints 4-6. I think the most shocking thing of this season is that when the season started, nobody would have picked the Panthers to be 9-0.
Totally
Nobody,
agree.
no one.
I agree with that, and and they're doing it because of one guy, Cam Newton. We all know what he brings to the table. He's not tearing up Mike in the throwing department, and we know he can run. We know how good he is at moving the football with his feet. He makes good throws and does a good thing at the time they need him. In the fourth quarter, he come to play. They say the first 3 quarters, they're like, well, who is this quarterback? But in the fourth quarter, him and his tight end Olsen have just been tearing it up right now. And you're right about one thing, though. They're 9-0 for a reason, because they learned to win in the fourth quarter, keeping the game close. They got a good defense. But, Mike, they're not playing the elite teams. They beat some teams. They beat some teams that are struggling right now, too, the teams you thought would be better off. But 9-0 is 9-0. You tell me right now, if you said, man, the New Orleans Saints are a bad football team, but they're 9-0, you think anybody around here would be frowning? Heck no.
Man, listen, you are what your record says you are, and you undefeated. But the one team I would not want to play in the NFC right now, Arizona Cardinals. They opened it up Sunday night up against Seattle and late. Having Seattle close the gap on him and coming back and win that game. Carson Palmer, what he means to this football team, they've got playmakers on both sides of the football, but if Carson Palmer stays healthy, the Cardinals have a legitimate chance to play on Super Bowl Sunday.
Well, there's no doubt about it. The way everybody thought, and I thought the Green Bay Packers were going to be the team to beat in the NFC, but boy, the way the Packers played, Mike, it's definitely the Arizona Cardinals. They got a little test coming this week, though. They go up against the Cincinnati Bengals, Carson Palmer's old team. The way the Bengals are playing right now, I like the Arizona in this, but you were right. But you just don't know, though. If Arizona plays Carolina later in the season, if it is a playoff game, and depending on where they play, that's the big key. If Arizona's got home field advantage, that's one thing. If Carolina's got it, it could be a different scenario there. It's going to be tough to find out who's going to go up against the New England Patriots.
The other thing, too, is Monday night, Cincinnati, who had been breathing some rarefied air, they got caught in the buzzsaw of a defense that the Saints will see in a couple of weeks in the Houston Texans. And, man, J.J. Watt just turned it up. But that defense has really played well, basically shutting teams down from giving up touchdowns. And it's hard to win in this league. All you're doing is kicking field goals. But the Bengals and Andy Dalton, I mean, they really looked shook up in that football game. And late when they had opportunities, you saw drop passes by Tyler Eifert, dropping passes. You saw Andy Dalton throwing the ball offline. And, man, if you got to block J.J. Watt with one guy, good luck. Because, I mean, he is something when he gets rolling up. And I don't know who will play quarterback for them, if it'll be T.J. Yates or Hart, but whoever's doing it, man, with that type defense, they in every game.
Well, that's the thing about it is if you can go ahead and play with a good defense, and that's what the Saints don't have. If you had a good defense that keep you in the ball game, I guess anybody can play quarterback. Because, look, I'm not a Hoyer fan. He doesn't light up the scoreboard for me, but they won.
He beat the Saints last year in the second game.
They won the football game. Houston, that's the next opponent for New Orleans Saints. They're tied for first place. It's amazing what the AFC is producing out there in that division especially. But overall, you have to look at it. If you can just line up with a good defense, it'll help you stay in football games. Not necessarily win them all, but Houston has turned around some things, and now they don't know who's going to be their quarterback.
It's interesting to see what's going on.
They did bring in Wheaton.
So we'll see what happens on that. He's another guy that has been all over the board. Man, what's going on in Denver now? You see certainly a lot of stories with Peyton Manning's injury, but we know it's the end of the road for Peyton. they're going with Brock Osweiler and to see what he can bring to the table. Now their defense is starting to show some cracks because they're 3 and out, constantly being on the field. And I'm interested to see how this team reacts with Brock. You have a veteran guy who is a hands-on, total control guy. Now Brock comes in here, not much on the resume, John. So it'll be interesting to see how the team reacts to Brock Osweiler, who's a big, tall drink of water. Man, he's got a rifle on him, too.
Well, you know, he came in the game the other night. Mike, Daddy had 0 points on the board. He scored 13 points against the Kansas City
That was
team.
kind of mop-up time.
It was a mop-up time, and I totally agree with what you're saying, mop-up time. But, you know, he didn't look that bad. He moved the ball a little bit. Still, no, it's the NFL. You move a little bit. But you got to be concerned about where Peyton's at. You know, he got a foot injury. It does affect your throwing from a quarterback standpoint. I know what he's got there. It will affect you. If he can get some rest and maybe 2 or 3 weeks not playing him, and if Denver can win a couple games and he comes back, it could be a difference. But we don't know what's going to happen right now.
But they're so far ahead now.
Right, that's the thing about it.
You can take advantage of that.
And that's why I think it's perfect right now. Let him sit out this game, maybe one more game, and see what you go from there. Unless, you know, some other team gets on fire and catches up with him. But they pretty much got that division wrapped up.
And I watched the end of the Giants-Patriots game. It was like, man, you got to control the clock better than that.
Right.
You giving Tom Brady that one last shot, and he didn't need a touchdown. All he needed was a field goal to win that football game. And again, goes to show the coaching part of the game that, you know, we talk about you win with players, but how smart Belichick is in putting guys in a position to make plays. He loses Deion Lewis. He loses Julian Edelman. They're still winning. But Tom Coughlin's clock management at the end of that game, man, had you scratching your head about, are you going to give them the football back with 1 minute and 40 seconds left or 1 minute 50 seconds left? That to me was amazing. You would almost be better off if you were the Patriots at one time was let Odell make the touchdown.
Right, right.
But in essence, man, the clock management, and this is the second time this year that has happened in a big kind of game. Remember against the Cowboys, same sort of situation. Now we saw it again. That doesn't bode well when you're playing a team like New England.
But let's be honest, Mike. I thought the Patriots could have put it away. I thought it was a bad play call of the Patriots when they got 1st and goal, and they ended up throwing a play action pass, and he threw a pick. He threw the ball behind the wide receiver, former LSU player. And I looked at that game and I went, wait a second, this game shouldn't even been as close. Patriots should have won a ball game, did not win it on that series, but that's why you play 60 minutes of football. If the Patriots would have scored there, I think the game would have been over, but it wasn't. And when he got down there, I'm thinking, Patriots, let him score.
Let him score.
But they didn't, and then they held him and they kick a field goal and they win the game.
I mean, and again, though, it's kind of been a trend with the Giants.
Yeah.
How you manage games.
But I think the Giants win that division. They'll win that. Philadelphia is going backwards. Washington, so-so, and the Cowboys, see you later. You can bring Romo back all you want. You ain't winning 7 straight games.
The hottest team, though, in the NFC right now, Minnesota Vikings.
Yes.
How well they have played under Teddy Bridgewater's guidance at quarterback, Adrian Peterson running the football. Mike Zimmer's defense has always been really good. And, man, they got a guy in the middle, and Denzel Joseph, who has really, really stepped it up in play. The Vikings right now are a team you don't want to see on the schedule either. Like Arizona, they are tough out.
Well, my whole question is what has happened to the Green Bay Packers? But you're right. The Minnesota Vikings will probably walk away and win that division.
Yeah, you know, and the one thing about you see young quarterbacks developing in this league, and, you know, if I had my choice of any of the young quarterbacks, it wouldn't be Teddy, but he's a guy, at least in the discussion of guys that you think could really win for you and be a really accurate downfield quarterback. And when you got a stud like Adrian Peterson, you don't need to really throw the football 45 times a game. We'll be back with more of the John Fourcade Show, sponsored each week by Veterans Forward.